All right, we are live. I'm Dan Lorenc, and I'm joined by Robert Lee, who's going to teach me how to do some power user stuff with Claude Code and agent swarms and Archon. Welcome on, Robert.
Well, thank you for having me. Just a little bit about myself. I've been working in tech seemingly a long time. It's about 30 years professionally now. I'm not a programmer. I'm not an influencer, but I am a lover of all things tech. So this should be a fun session. This is basically showing off a bunch of tools and techniques of the people that I admire in the AI space.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been using Claude Code all the time, and every time I've tried to use any of the advanced stuff, I just give up and go back to plain old Claude Code with dangerously skip permissions and have fun that way. But I'm excited to learn some new stuff and see if I can up-level my vibe coding.
Totally, and this is all an evolution. It can all be self-taught. I can tell you personally, up until February of this year, I was still a caveman. I was still using Screen, and I was using VI for all of my edits, and I was manually keeping track of my repos. I wasn't even really using GitHub or revision control because it was mostly solo dev efforts. So my first foray into this is somebody turned me on to Cursor. So I started playing with that as an IDE, and I was like, "Oh, this is super cool!" With the autocompletes and having the chat modules, and I played with all the different models that you can pull into that, and that's all still truly amazing, next generation compared to what I was doing. But then the next step after that, I started playing with like Codex and Claude Code CLI and a few of these other variants of the same theme. And I found that, the combination between that and an IDE is very, very compelling. One of the IDEs that I use when I use an IDE at all is the Void editor, which is an open source VS Code clone. It's really similar in principle to Cursor, but it's completely open source. And so that's kind of the evolution that I went down. Then I found the project Claude Flow that Ruv and the Agentics Foundation folks are pushing. And the best way to explain that is it automates a lot of the things that I was doing manually. Because if you played with this sufficiently, you'll do a prompt and it will think for a bit and then it will show you something. Then you have to do all this context switching of, do I want this change that they are proposing? Yes or no. And so if you're editing production code, that's probably the mode you still want. But if you're having fun and it's a personal project and you've got a really solid setup for revision control and you can roll back with ease, then having this this dangerous mode is really compelling, because I'm able now to give it sketches of what I want and walk away and come back after a coffee break or whatever and see what it's actually developed for me completely on its own.
Yeah.
But then the magic is really what people are calling now prompt engineering. I don't like to use a lot of buzzwords, but I'm assuming you have product management background as well.
Yep.
But from Amazon days, we had the PR FAQ or working backwards concept, or I really love the book Escaping the Build Trap. But the more now that we've set up this additional tooling, we are kind of rebuilding all the stuff that we learned from the enterprise software development. So again, a little bit more about my background, not to make it about me, but I have developed software as a product manager, as a technical program manager, for Intuit, for Amazon, for Twitter, for Snapchat, for ByteDance. I've seen enterprise software being developed correctly, and the principles that we use in the enterprise are a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. Yeah, I've gone down a few of those long rabbit holes myself, where I'm flying through projects, flying through with Claude Code. I got something amazing working. I vibe coded a little too close to the sun, and then it broke everything, and I never get committed any of it along the way, and I just rage quit and delete the repo and start again. And it's when you're just doing it by yourself on a toy project, it's hard to remember to put it in tests and CI and really git commit every 10 minutes when you're just having fun. But Yeah, when you add those levels, it just makes it even more powerful because you can just keep trying and not worry about making mistakes and rolling back and hoping things get caught with the tests and the lint hooks and all of that. So yeah, in a real setup, it's definitely a lot more powerful, but it's not as much fun when you're just
and if you really get into the Claude Flow stuff, we won't show it today because it takes a little bit of effort to set up. But in addition to the normal Swarm init, they also have an init for GitHub, and it takes advantage of Claude CLI's hooks.
Yeah.
And so with the hooks, you can basically, anytime that there's a major code change, you can automatically check in code. Yeah. So you have copious rollback opportunities. Yep. The other thing that we'll briefly probably still talk about is the dreaded compacting session.
The new sonnet with 1 million is like, it's crazy. You almost never see that anymore. I've got that set up, sonnet with the 1 million context window.
Well, with some of this new tooling, you might see it more. Right. I in a given 5-hour coding session, I'll see it probably 30 times.
Oh man! All right.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. We're gonna be playing with Archon. Let me pull up Screen Share and show the dashboard. I'll start with the GitHub repo, and you can explain what this thing is, and then we'll start coding.
Cool. Yeah. So again, not my tooling, but it's tools that I've been using daily for about 3 weeks now. Cole Medin is one of the principal authors of it, but he has a group called Dynamis, which has a bunch of AI interesting forums and content, but really, really great content. The thing that I like about Archon that adds to my tool chain is, if you think about the enterprise software development lifecycle, as a product manager, of all the problems I could be solving right now, what are the critical few? How do I describe them? What's the core problem that I'm solving, the why? And then I have to come up with a solution for how I propose to solve that why. So this is user story 101 stuff. With Archon, I now have a Kanban board where I get to keep track of tasks or user stories of what I want Claude code to actually develop for me. So I'm turning Claude code into my 24/7 available enterprise developer. And I'm keeping it on track with the user stories and all the tasks that are now inside of Archon. Now, in addition to that, now we've all played with MCP, I'm sure by now, and you've got like Context 7 and a bunch of other MCP servers that allow you to pull in information about libraries on demand. But it's incomplete in a lot of cases, and sometimes you're working on something that is just not on the common path, but you still want Claude to know about it. So in addition to having the user stories and the tasks, the other major uplift of Archon is it has a knowledge base. And in its knowledge base, you can either upload files directly like PDF, and it can OCR and all that fun stuff automatically, but you're building an internal RAG. And you can also just give it a URL and tell it the depth that you want it to crawl, and it will crawl the entire thing. So often I'll just give it a starting point URL for API docs on a third-party API set that I want it to know about. And then once it's in the local RAG, Claude Code can ask questions of the knowledge base, just like a chat bot. It's really fun to watch the questions that it asks. Nice. But you can do the same thing as well. So this does not force you to choose either I'm going to write every line of code myself, or I'm going to have Claude Code write every line of code. It allows you to have that human AI interaction that really finds the sweet spot for wherever you want to be that day.
Nice. Yeah, I've been probably just reinventing this with the poor man's setup, where whenever I'm working with a nasty API or SDK or a complicated library, I just clone the repository, tell Claude to review it, generate comprehensive docs, and then I drop those markdowns into a little docs folder for it to access later.
I was doing that for a while too. Like a lot of my repos will have a temp folder, and I'll put all kinds of other repos in the temp folder and say, fire up some agents, go crawl this, learn everything about it, and then take what you need from it. So you can do that. We've all been using Band-Aids for the same, I'm sure, but being able to just pull it into RAG, I think it's just more efficient.
Cool. All right. Well, let's start coding. You had a cool idea for a worm game we're going to make. So how do we do it? Head over to
Cool.
Archive here.
So
I go to my terminal.
yeah. So again, based on the principle that the coding agent does better if it knows what you want it to do. One of the things that we'll
read our minds yet.
What's that?
They can't read our minds yet.
No, unfortunately not. So if you go into Archon and you go to the project management section, yeah, that top part. Yeah, so I just created a stub project for us. Now, the other interesting thing for anyone who's paying attention here about Archon that makes it, I think, really interesting for this new age where we're all distributed is it is pulling its data set from Supabase. So it's cloud hosted. I mean, I could do my own infrastructure and achieve the same outcome, but the presentation layer that Dan is looking at is his own instance of his presentation layer. I have Archon running in a Docker on my machine as well, but we're both with our env files talking to the same Supabase backend. So as I make changes on my side, it automatically populates for him and vice versa. So we don't necessarily have to be, sharing the exact same infrastructure in order for us to coordinate. And we can still, with Git repositories, we can still check things out and have our own branches and then merge things together. But it's not just a way for us to better interact with the AI. It's also a better way to interact with other developers on a shared repo. Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty easy to get set up. I just created a Supabase project, dropped in some files, and it was up and running.
Great. So I think that to get started here, there's a few different things that we can do. I sometimes cheat, and I'll go over to like ChatGPT. Well, I made my own instance with OpenWeb UI, Robert GPT. But you can go in there and you can give it broad strokes idea of what we want the game to be, and then ask it to generate a user story for us. So that can be maybe a nice starting point. So fire up your favorite chat interface, I guess. Do you have Claude or yeah, there you go.
Open up ChatGPT.
Yeah, just say I'm building a clone of the 1980s version of Worm.
Okay.
I want it to work authentically with the old VI HJKL commands for left, up, down, right.
Cool.
I want the number that the worm eats to be randomly generated with the range of 1 to 20. I want the worm's tail to grow to the length of the number that it ate.
Okay.
And maybe we just use this as a starting point, and then I sometimes hit enter and then
to the number, to the length or by the length.
Say that again.
To the length of the
Oh,
number?
sorry, by the length.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
additive. Yeah. And then I sometimes then will hit enter and then do like 2 lines or two dashes rather than enter again.
So just,
sorry, like minus enter, minus enter.
so if I press enter, it'll start responding. Do you want me to not?
Oh yeah, no, I want us to get on a new line.
Okay.
Yeah, and then minus, and then new line again, and say, please help me turn this into a user story.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so this is a starting point. We can take this user story,
copy this,
and if we go over to Archon now, and you can add a task, and say let's call the title base game to get base gameplay or something like that, and then add this as the description. Yeah.
Okay.
And then let's create task.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's go. And this is just super basic starting point, and we'll be able to refine this over time. But now, if you go to your terminal, now for those watching the live stream, we did a couple things before the live stream started. We added Archon as an MCP server, which was just a one-line command, just letting Claude know how to interact with Archon. But by the way, I forgot to ask you did this system is that you're in for the console. It's the same system that Archon is locally running.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we added that, and we also initialized it for Claude Flow. So now, remember that set of 4 commands I gave you? The last one was like spawn with foo.
Yeah.
Okay, so now instead of that, here, let me quickly type something that I'll have you copy and paste.
It's a little hard for me to grab it out while I'm screen sharing. I've got the command.
Okay, we'll just here. I'll help you retype it then. But change the foo.
Yeah.
To for project ID, and then you need to paste the project.
Got it. Okay.
I need you to work on task ID and then paste the task ID.
Okay, and that's another UID.
Yeah, so it's just right there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then let's add another sentence like, please be interactive in this session. Ask me questions as needed in order to make sure that you understand what I want.
Cool.
Yeah, and then go ahead and hit enter, and let's fire this off.
Now, we haven't told it anything about tech stack, programming language, term TUI, web UI.
Yeah, we may get some of those questions. It may optimistically pick something on our behalf.
Yeah. So what is going on now? We've got a hive mind queen.
Yeah. So with this, it has a mesh set of local sub agents that it's firing up, and each one of these agents has. If you look inside of your Claude folder, you'll find an agent subdirectory, and inside of those, you'll have all the agent personas defined. And,
okay. So yeah. After the switch tech stack.
Yeah, they're a bunch of MD files. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and answer the questions in order.
Maybe terminal based. So it's you.
Yeah, I think terminal base is correct.
Cool.
And then I usually do like a period or 2 dash. Yeah, there you go.
Game board.
We want it to be able to auto resize to whatever the size of the terminal is.
Yeah. My terminal. Game over. If the worm hits itself. How fast should it move?
It should incrementally speed up over time, but it should start off with 1 character movement per second.
Okay. Cool. Any score display needed?
Yeah, not for now. We can add that later.
Yeah.
And then the visual style is definitely ASCII characters. With the head of the snake being an @ sign.
Single file or multiple files. I'll just say user judgment.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Cool. And then just also say dash or on a new line, if you can say note, please read the Claude.md file and keep Archon up to date as you go.
Cool. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. RAG queries, code examples, more RAG queries. We don't have much data in here, so it's not fine.
No, and if there was a library that we wanted it to use, we probably could have added that to the knowledge base ahead of time.
Yeah.
But Here, just for fun, while that's going, I don't know if you can have two things up at the same time. If you have Archon up at the same time,
I'll have to tab back and forth. But yeah. So
but you'll notice that it automatically moved it to the in progress state.
Nice.
Yeah, and as it makes progress, you can even tell it, hey, if for tracking purposes, feel free to create additional subtasks as you go. And I've gone back and forth. Like I remember one project, I went out of my way to follow the PRD sort of example, and I made a massive product requirements document. And just had it keep feeding off of that, but it chunks the context in forgetful ways at times.
Yeah.
And so I've found a lot more luck by splitting the problems down into bite-sized chunks. But
that's a lot of the art of AI coding, is building up that intuition of what it's going to be able to accomplish in one context window.
Yeah. The peace of mind that I get using Archon, though, it can't be understated, because in the past, every single time you bump up against that context window where it's compacting your session,
you lose a lot.
It basically is saying, I'm about to forget everything you care about.
Yeah.
And so having it, again, this is another thing in an advanced setup that you could set up. There are hooks that are pre-compression of session, where you basically have it go and make sure it updates all of the tasks, make sure that the title, the description, and the status are up to date with current. And then when it goes through its self-imposed amnesia, then I tell it again, okay, now reread the Claude.md file and reacquaint yourself with the project. And that way, by features is absolutely right. User stories and tasks, but that ensures that you never lose the context that you care about during a compression.
Yeah. All right. So we made a directory. We've got to-dos. We wrote a core. It's looking for analysts. Can we follow on with the status in Archon or no?
You can either follow it in Archon, or if you want to pull up your IDE again, like you can look at the code as it's being developed as well. That's sometimes entertaining.
Nice. Run game, worm game.
But it is truly live and interactive with that MCP server interacting with Archon. So if you wanted to, you could queue up additional user stories of things that you wanted to add afterwards. So you just keep clicking on add task. And if there's something clever you want to add afterwards, that's where you do it.
Too much until I get to play with it. Does it update anything in here? Like, is there a way to double click into this and see?
Yeah, that middle one. Yeah, that's the description.
Yeah, that's what we typed. Oh, no, it generated some of this.
Yeah, it read ours, and I think it added additional context after you answered its questions.
Yeah. So what are we doing now? It's testing. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll add a bunch of stuff. I was actually on a session with Cole earlier today. We were swapping stories. Like sometimes I'll tell it that I don't need tests or anything like that up front. Keep it in an alpha state in order to ensure that it does, because otherwise it over engineers the problem.
Yeah. I found some words are very loaded. I was working on a tricky API integration in an existing code base, and it was getting overcomplicated. So I made a just prototypes directory, and I said, just try to write a minimal prototype of this integration before we merge it back into the main project. And the word prototype sets it into this mode where it just fakes everything and simulates everything and avoids actually doing the hard work. So I started calling it demo or spike or something like that to like really reinforce that the point was to prove the technical integration, not to simulate it.
Yes.
And it was like this thing where I was trying to get an interactive TTY in some container, and it built a whole simulated shell for me where like it had 7 or 8 commands hard coded with results. So it looked real until I looked at the code.
It's faking you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, this is what it would look like if we actually did the work.
Oof.
Yeah. So the word prototype is a no.
Yeah, and by the way, this session that you're in with Claude, it's interactive still. So even though it's off and it's doing and it's executing, you can still
you can type stuff in
along the way.
Yeah. So now it's doing performance analyzer agent.
In fact, you can even tell it. I don't really care about tests right now. I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about performance right now. Can I try playing the game?
Yeah.
Will that interrupt it?
I sometimes ask it like, let me know when it's ready to test.
Yeah. Did that message make it in?
Well, so it's in the middle of something, and then it'll read it. If you want to interrupt what it's doing, just hit escape and then enter again, and then you can force it to read what you're saying right now.
Cool. So
yeah, like if it's on the wrong path, you absolutely want to interrupt it.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work in here. I'll have to I'll have to start it from outside, I'm guessing. Yeah. Open up a new terminal. What did it run? Where did it go? Python 3 run game. I lost my. Oh, it's in source. Press any key to continue. All right. HJKL.
What's it doing?
It's flashing. I don't see my worm. Oh, okay. It's not moving automatically.
Only when
there it is. Yeah, okay. It's just flickering a lot. I see. Yeah, I'm the little O.
Can we eat something and make our tail grow?
I'm trying. It's a little hard to steer. What are the letters again? It might have miswired these. Which is left? There we go.
J is supposed to be down, K is up, H is left, L is right.
Okay, I think that's what it's doing. Okay, it was just a little slow. I'm moving over. I'm going to get the 5. I got it. Oh, my tail is growing by 5. It worked.
How to refresh the screen without it interrupting game.
All right, I'm on the way to the 14.
Okay, so I just added a new task, and we might have it work on that task next.
Cool. Eventually, it'll make its way over to the 14.
Yeah, we should probably remind it that we need a speed up capability. I'll add another one that talks about like if you press the direction multiple times, like it should go at the speed that you press it. Yeah, let me add that feature as well.
Oh, it's kind of working actually. Well, it's stopping the flickering if I keep pressing the direction. It's not actually going any faster.
Okay.
Oh, and that's what happened. It buffered a bunch of my key presses. That's why I felt like it was confused.
Aha.
We're gonna make it. All right, so you added those stories. Should I exit the
Yeah,
game?
I added one project. Or a task. I'll add another task, but you can find the task that I already entered and then ask it to work on that task.
Cool. Once I get this 14, then I'll be happy. Oh no, I missed. I pressed the button. Game over. All right, well, that was cool. We tried it. All right. Let me get back here. Okay, so now tell it to...
Yeah, so find the task ID that's already in there. It's in the backlog.
Do I exit this now and then tell it to start a new one?
You don't have to. You can, but
Okay.
it's not required.
Let's do that. I clear the context. I need you to work on task ID. Screen flickering?
Yeah, and just copy the task ID as a button. Yeah, yep. There you go. And then sometimes if you're redoing the full context like this, what I'll also tell it as a preamble is please review all the existing source code to be familiar with the repo.
Cool. We don't need it to be interactive.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And so all these agents and swarms, I'm sure they use a lot more tokens, but they keep the context smaller, and I guess the supervisor agent keeps it on track better. Is that the idea?
That's right, because each sub agent has its own context.
Yeah.
And so, and you can really geek out on this in Claude Flow. It takes a while to get it all in your head properly, but you can have some of them that are 8 distinct personas all working together, and you can change how the swarm makes decisions. So you can either make it based on simple majority, like democracy. You can say, no, I want the decision to be weighted based on who's actually an expert for that thing. There's a few different modes on how it decides on things, but by having this swarm, this quorum of subagents, the decisions that it makes are actually not that bad. I found them to be preferable versus Claude code without the Claude swarm overlay. One other side note tangent, Claude code CLI can actually work with other models. You're not necessarily tied to the Anthropic set. So I've played with a few different proxy solutions.
Oh, I've seen some of these. Yeah, they just you pointed at a local proxy and have it switch.
Yes, and so at that point you could talk to pretty much any OpenAI compatible endpoint. So Ollama becomes possible, Light LLM becomes possible, Open Router becomes possible, and so at that point you can still play with these same techniques. But if you want to throw in GLM 4.5, or if you want to use Quinn Coder 3 or DeepSeek 3.1, whatever you think is going to get the job done better for you, you can go do that. I sometimes do that when I run out of Opus credits.
Which models are your favorites?
Quinn Coder 3 is great. GLM 4.5 is great. I'm still learning if I like the new DeepSeek 3.1. I'm using it for my my Open Web UI chatbot right now. I was using GLM 4.5 for a while, but just trying to get a flavor for it. I don't know its code capability that well yet.
No more flickering.
Cool. All right.
I'm going to go grab that 16. And then can you write a task to tell it to go faster?
Uh-oh. I did the wrong thing. Okay, I meant to make a story for the worm game, but I accidentally created a new project. I hit the wrong button. Let me go create the new task real quick. Okay. Gameplay speed. As a user, the speed of the game is kind of slow. Okay to start at 1 movement per second. However, we should speed up by 5% every time we eat a number.
Cool.
Also, if the user presses a direction like H, J, K, or L, we should immediately move that direction. We should not queue up or buffer these movements. All right, create task.
Okay, I'm about to grab this 16. Here we go. We got it. All right, I'll get the 1 and then we'll exit out. 16 is a lot.
That's a good one.
Maybe we can tell it to make the screen a little denser too at the start, so we don't have to go around so far.
Yeah. Let me fire up another task for that too.
Cool.
Density of numbers. Right now, the screen is sparse with numbers. Let's go ahead and populate it with more numbers. We do not need to travel as far to each one.
All right, I'll grab this 15 and then we'll kill it.
Yeah. So some other things as you're playing with it, like if you want to be super specific, you say, I really want you to work on this specific task.
Yeah.
In other ways, though, you could say, here's the project ID. Go be familiar with all the open tasks in the backlog, and let's decide what to work on next.
Okay. Yeah, let's try that. And I've got it still running, so we can tab back and forth.
Yeah.
The project ID was this one. Just say pick another open task from project.
Yeah.
And work on it. And we'll keep playing Worm. Let's go get that 4.
Yeah, I recently built a live stream voice translator, because I'll be in Croatia next month visiting family, and I don't speak Croatian and they don't speak English, and so I did have my wife record some Croatian phrases, and I recorded some English phrases, and then I showed it where those files were in a local in the repository folder, and then it was able to test based on our voice as it went along. So it was iterative, but I didn't have to sit there and talk to it every single time. I was actually able to teach it how to play the voice files on demand.
Nice.
But it's really, really fascinating to watch it self-iterate and do its own testing to get better.
Cool. Yeah, so it did the density. I told it to grab another one, and hopefully it'll grab the speed requirements, and then we'll restart.
Yeah.
We'll probably get that 18 and the 16 before it finishes. We're super multitasking now.
Yeah. Eating our dog food, as they say.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Almost done, it looks like. Wonder what happens if it hits a wall.
I think we die, but
They never asked. Yeah. All right. It'd be cool if it wrapped.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
Yeah. Cool. It didn't grab the 18 somehow. I went right through it.
Well, oh, because
Oh, it's actually got the one on the left.
Yeah. Left justified. We could probably fix that too. At a certain point, we're going to bump up on time, but let me add a story for that too.
I'll grab it. We're going to get it.
When we have a 2-digit number.
There we go. All right.
Right now, the worm can only eat if it eats the leftmost.
Oh yeah, way denser.
We need to be able to eat either the 1 or the 8. ED. Both numbers should be fair game to eat. All right.
Oh yeah, we sped up. I missed it. It's much faster now. And I can keep pressing it. Perfect. Oh yeah, we're flying now.
All right. So I added a task for the 2-digit number problem as well.
Nice. Well, we're pretty much out of time here, but this is working.
Yeah. But just to recap, the parts that I think are fascinating here is that we have essentially, we're starting to solve the proper interactions between humans and AI, both in just a one-on-one pairing environment, but also in a group collaboration environment.
Yeah,
So
you were just editing all those tasks while I was playing the game.
Right. And imagine if we had, 5 or 6 other developers with us, or other product managers, or, QA engineers. We can all share the same infra and quickly iterate and go from idea to workable demo in under an hour.
Awesome. I'm just going to be playing this for a while.
Yeah, we haven't fixed the 2-digit problem yet, but that's in your backlog.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and showing me these tools.
Yeah, I'm really excited for your series. I'll be checking it out as you make progress.
Cool. Well, have a great one.
All right. Likewise. Bye.